So you were raising Los Angeles, and this time, this movie is the very first movie you shot in the foreign country.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So how did you decide?
Well, I think I'd had a desire to make films other places for a long time, but the stories that were attracting me or coming to me were things that were set mostly in Los Angeles. So between making a very conscious decision to go to England, somewhere where I have a lot of friends and I've spent a lot of time there, and I really wanted to go there to make a film. I felt like time was running out, so I put my mind to it, and yeah, the story it worked well for the story. There was a kind of perfect blend of everything: the desire to go there to make a story, and then having a story that I wanted to tell that fit.
The location of the Cornwall, yeah, the clip, Cornwall. How
Well,
yeah.
no, it's not. It's
Is that Cornwall?
no, it's not Cornwall actually. Those cliffs, that is actually up in the north. It's in Yorkshire.
Oh, really? Yorkshire.
Yes, yes.
Wow, wow.
Yes, it looks very similar with the cliffs and everything of Cornwall, but no, it's actually up north. Yes.
Oh, I thought you shot it in Cornwall because of the Rebecca.
No.
No. So you told about the inspiration and some magazine. So that you saw the Rebecca in your house.
Yeah.
Oh, how?
Well, I've seen Rebecca many times, and it's always lingered around in my mind as it's a great film. I mean, everybody knows that it's a great film, and I suppose it was a strong inspiration to in a way, not update it, but sometimes you have to ask yourself, well, what is realistic, and what isn't, and sometimes you can kind of imagine certain things with characters and say, I just don't believe that Rebecca would, or actually her name's not Rebecca, but that Joan Fontaine character would have stayed around for as long as she would have. I think my version would be that she would have gotten upset and probably found a way to poison Laurence Olivier. So you riff on certain things, maybe and that's what I did with this. That was it. He's a good place to start.
Oh, the third act of the Rebecca is not good, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're going,
because it's not like the book. Like I think in the book, he's killed his wife. I hate those moments when they always kind of reveal something that's the opposite of what you would think when he's saying, Rebecca, love her. I hated her. This kind of stuff. That's a little bit silly. I think Hitchcock didn't like that either, but I think that was David O. Selznick, famously kind of trying to make it appeal to a wider audience, which was bizarre because the book was already this gigantic selling thing.
But they changed.
But they changed, so that's kind of ego, I suppose. Producer's ego probably tried to.
Have you read another story? My cousin Rachel.
Yes, I didn't see the film. Did you see they just made a film of it?
Yeah.
See, I read the book. Very good. I like that book very much. There's another one. There's My Cousin Rachel. Rebecca's the most famous one. There's one more that we're forgetting. Oh, It'll Come to Me.
Kind of similar story.
Yes, very similar. A lot of the stories that she wrote were very, a strong heroine, a beat at the middle of it.
So your Fathom Fate, it started to like Rebecca, but it turned to be my cousin Rachel because of poison.
Yeah. Well, that that genre usually ends up with poison. It's very it's a kind of staple of that gothic romance genre. Someone's gonna die, someone's gonna get hurt, poison will come out. Those are always the things that you expect when you go to see one of those films. So yeah, we delivered on that, which is
You got the fever when you watched the Rebecca in your home, or you thought.
Yes.
That's
Well, the way that story goes is that I had been I was ill. I was sick with the flu, and the things that I was watching were these. I was kind of watching these gothic romance films. I was watching Rebecca, Beauty and the Beast. You know, the original Cocteau, Beauty and the Beast. What was the other one? Story of Adele H was another one. All of these things that were really these women, these great female characters, kind of navigating this peculiar world with overbearing men, and yeah, it really appealed to me at the time.
How about the opening of the Misty Beethoven?
The opening of Misty Beethoven.
Yeah, you recommend it.
Well, yes, but
That's the same story.
is that right? Yes, of course it is. The porno film.
Yes, all of him. Yeah, but I watched it because you recommended. So actually, you are my kind of mentor of the cinemas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember. What's the plot of Misty Beethoven is that she's going to kind of go into this world, right? And they're going to teach her.
Teacher is a Dr. Love.
Yes.
That he's a master and a mentor her.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, you can,
I haven't seen it in so long.
oh, you forgot it.
Yes, I forgot it. I remember the dirty parts, but I forgotten the plot. I really need to see it again. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh,
It's funny, but that's a perfect example of that. When you're younger, those things that get in there, and absolutely, they just stay. They're in there. Once they get in there, I think they're not going anywhere. And eventually they come out. Yeah. I see it. You see it with your. I don't know if you ever saw it with your daughter, or you see it with your kids, where they think they're saying something for the first time. It's coming out, and then you realize a week ago that that's when they heard whatever. The things are planted in there, and they come back out. That's great. It's fantastic how that works. Yeah.
and that story is kind of variation of the Beauty and the Beast. The the heroine of the Misty Beethoven, kind of turned the table, and she took over the kind of.
Right. That's right. That's right. She takes it over. That's right. Oh God, I've got to watch this again straight away now. That's great.
And also, you mentioned this kind of, Phantom Thread is start with the kind of idea of the ghost story.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very kind of strange ghost story, I think, because the Daniel Day-Lewis, doesn't fear the ghost. He's kind of, I mean, the Woodcock,
Yes.
very comfortable with the ghost.
Well, right. Well, he says it. Yes, you're right. So to have a good ghost story, you need somebody to be scared of the ghost. Our character at the very beginning says, "I'm not scared of ghosts at all," But I think that must be that kind of thing that if you're, if you're desperate for help, it's very common, that you would. If you're desperate for help and you're kind of desperate to connect to people that you miss, it would be very natural for you to sort of talk yourself into by saying, I hope I can see a ghost. I hope something will come to me. That I wouldn't find that scary at all. That deep down would be something that would be optimistic or kind of hopeful, because you're allowing for the idea that in the afterlife that there are spirits and they can touch back to the present, so it's hopeful. I mean, I think he's desperate for something to come and touch him and talk to him. So yeah, it's funny. It becomes a lot less spooky when you have that, but somebody who's excited by it.
Oh, do you remember the Mr. Stanley Kubrick?
Yes.
Same thing.
Yes.
The idea of the ghost is kind of optimistic.
The idea, because you have, if it's, but it's like all religions, they always say like, it's promising life after death, which is great. Isn't everybody? That's so exciting.
Yeah.
To everybody would be the thought that you don't just close your eyes and it gets black, I mean, I have those thoughts all the time. You think, oh, I wish the ghost of anybody, that you miss would come and visit me, whether it's sitting right here or whether it's in my dreams, because it's hopeful, that means that they're still with you somehow. So, but then days go by and nobody drew, no, you don't have any dreams of your loved ones or anything, and you get very disappointed. They come to you at this moments when you least expect it, which maybe is when you most need it, I guess.
Do you still dream about your father?
No, not as much. Not as much as I wish. Sometimes I had, yeah, sometimes, but not as much as I'd like.
He's a kind of ghost because he's a Guladi.
Huh? Well, right, yeah.
But you don't dream?
I hear it sometimes, but not enough.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could go. Wouldn't it be that we could control our dreams? Isn't that what Inception was? Like you control your dreams, and that would be great. You could program what you wanted to dream about.
How about the Jonathan Demme?
I haven't had a dream about Jonathan yet. No, not yet.
I think this Phantom Thread, reminds me of the silence of the lungs because the woodcock that is like a Dr. Lecter, and he's a master, and that place is
Yeah. No. Maybe. That's a bit of a stretch, I think. That's a stretch. I mean, a murdering psychopath who eats people or a fussy yes maker. I don't know.
very similar. And he, in the beginning, he underestimated her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's true. I mean, I think you have it. That's a kind of classic, though, in a lot of male-female dynamics. You have the male character who's consistently underestimating the woman, and the woman kind of dutifully playing a certain kind of part until she decides to reveal that all along she's known better. Really, right? It's a classic kind of way to
Kind of architecture.
but inevitably it's classic because it's true, because most men walk through life thinking that they know a little bit more than the woman they're with, but that's just not the case at all, as we've learned.
So how did you get interested in dressmakers?
Well, I don't know. I saw in books about it, and I like the way it seemed like a very good venue for a story, like yeah. But I guess it's nice when something is right in front of your face and you find a new appreciation for it, which I never had before. I never, t-shirts and shorts was about as much as I ever cared about getting dressed. And the more that you learn about it, the more you get excited by the artistry, appreciation of the artistry. Yeah, it's cool.
Did you already know about the Balenciaga before this?
No, I didn't. I mean, I knew his name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all I knew was the name. I knew the names Balenciaga and Dior, Chanel, those big brands, but I didn't know anything about them. It was all brand new to me about whenever, 5 or 6 years ago when I started reading about it. And it was, it just flipped a lot of switches for me.
You learned from the researching of this story.
Yeah.
And the cinematographer of this movie is very beautiful, and the motion of the camera was so amazing. Yeah, especially the camera goes up to the kind of stairways, kind of floating. So how did you do that with a film camera?
Well, with a camera, with an old-fashioned dolly. We never really used. I have to say, I'm very proud of the fact that we never really used too many modern tools. We did have a Steadicam once to take us up the stairs with our first client, but mostly we were really trying to using old-fashioned equipment straightforward dolly on, on risers, and I think sometimes the movements are small, but they give the impression as being bigger and more complicated because of the architecture. The house is so dynamic. I mean, there's a beautiful old Georgian townhouse. That really it was very, very hard to make a bad shot in that house just because it was so beautiful, the architecture of the stairwell. Yeah, kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, some years ago, you recommended the movies, films of the Max Ophuls.
Yes, well, this is very Max Ophuls movie, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, Earrings of Madame Du and Le Plaisir, La Ronde, really gliding camera movements and usually A Letter from an Unknown Woman. That's a really, really good one. That's probably one of my favorites there. And anyway, I have always admired his camera movements, like just absolutely gliding and tying everything together so smoothly. So it becomes theatrical, but in a good way. Yeah, because theatrical can sometimes mean, that you should probably be in a play, and it's a movie. It needs to have some kind of cinematic energy, right? Otherwise, it's just sort of dull. He could do this perfect blending of things, that he would stage things. So it was really just a lot of people talking in rooms and things like that. But it focused on the story, it focused on the characters, but it never forgot that you could entertain with the movement of the camera as well. And so it just never got stagey. I just love his films. Yeah, and they're always usually about kind of glamorous people. There's usually there's beautiful costumes, beautiful sets. Yeah, he was very luxurious in his tastes of stories, and yeah, great director, really great director. I've talked about him a lot. I'll continue to, great.
Yeah, I saw some movies of his. So because you recommended.
Did you see any of his American movies? Caught, Out.
Oh no.
You should really see Caught.
Um,
It's a fantastic film. Caught, and another great film that he made is called The Reckless Moment.
Reckless Moment. Yeah.
Oh, great film. Oh yeah.
And when I saw some his movies, so that I was kind of surprised because some of the camera movement was stolen by the Stanley Kubrick.
Really?
Yeah, especially the La Plaisir. In the end of the La Plaisir, the camera kind of follow the heroines going up to the stairs, and the camera passes her, and the camera goes up to the window and falls down.
Oh yes, of course. What did he do that? What did?
Clockwork Orange. He throws the
When he throws the camera off.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, I think everybody goes back to Max Ophuls, or even if you don't know it, I mean, I asked Steven Spielberg, who's amazing at moving the camera. I said, "Who's your favorite moving the camera?" And he said Michael Curtiz.
Oh, my Curtiz.
But I have to say, I think Michael Curtiz was stealing from Max Ophuls, right? That's my history. I could be wrong. There's people that know more about this than I do. But I think Ophuls was... There's a great poem that James Mason wrote. Did you ever find that? Find this. There's a great poem that James Mason wrote. It comes from Max Ophuls and his camera. It's a teasing him about how he's only happy when he's near his dolly, It's really nice. I can't remember it, but it's out there somewhere.
Talking about the color, the Max Ophuls color movie, Lola Montes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Peter Ustinov one?
Yeah, that's great. But Phantom Thread reminds me of that color.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, especially the kind of a New Year's party thing.
Oh yeah. The Yaskis thing. Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yeah.
So how much money did you spend? See.
A lot of money. A lot of money.
Like a real elephant.
No,
It's not.
it's a pretend elephant.
Oh, really?
Everybody asks that. It's funny. It's a paper mache elephant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, the expensive part of that is not more even what you'd think, you know. It's just it's always the fact that traveling in a movie is expensive. So you have to bring crew from London to Blackpool where we were shooting. It's the least expensive part usually is the costumes and feeding people and that kind of stuff. There's like transportation and then accommodations become wildly expensive. But yeah, it was fun. It was only 2 days. That was the crazy. And one day, we did it all in a day. We got up there and practiced and rehearsed it all out, and then came the next day and just shot all day long and got really tired by the end of it. But it was nice. Nice be good day.
And also the Phantom Thread is about the story about kind of art versus love or kindness. Yeah, and the career versus kind of family kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. A little bit. I think, yeah, that must be in there because it's a character who's so consumed with his work. But I never thought of it that way. I always thought that it was more of us, that if you have a character that it was a good way to show the idea, unlike if you have a character who's self-consumed and only partially interested in romance, that you could tell a story whose punchline was about need. The punchline was about how much we do need each other and that it is okay to need each other and that that's ultimately what can make love so satisfying is depending on somebody else and needing that. So that was the most important part of the story. And then the byproducts of these kinds of things, those just happen, the kind of idea of art versus romance, because I don't think that I mean, I guess I've, you know, I find it a little bit, it's a little bit, no, it's fine. It's a little bit juvenile to think that you have to be dedicated to either your work or your love life, you know, that one has to suffer, which I just don't, I've come to find that this is not true.
In the end of the Orpheus movie, the La Plaisir, the story about the painter and his models.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And finally, he just gives up, and
That's right. That's right. What's the ending there? He just
pushed her wheelchair at the shore, like kind of beach, and there is a kind of narration, is he kind of happy or sad? And he's sad and happy, and happiness is not joyful. It's a last conversation.
Yeah. I need to see it again. That's really lovely. I really need to watch that film again. I haven't seen it in a while.
That's kind of sneak into your subconscious.
Sure.
Very similar,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Oh, I'd love to see that again. Well, usually I go back, usually I regenerate my Max Ophuls love and you're writing a film again and you want to see them again to give you ideas and refresh your memories. So I'll watch that one again.
You said the kind of, it's kind of childish, you just take the career or art before family, you said. So this conclusion is Phantom Thread's conclusion is very kind of personal.
Which one?
The conclusion of this movie Phantom Thread
Yes.
is personal. Your kind of private from your private life.
Personal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, sir, always things are personal. Every film
Yeah.
is very personal. So yeah, hopefully, but yeah, but ultimately it's personal probably in ways that aren't evident, or that may seem evident but aren't. But Sure, it's always should be, but it's certainly not exact, you know.
But you are raising 4 kids, so
Yes, so that's pretty different.
so you're not such a not the big time for the spending your time for the just art. So
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. I mean, I suppose that you could. I suppose that I could make a decision to not pay any attention to my children. There's a long history of people who, you know, who have decided that it's probably more important for them to indulge in themselves than to pay attention to their families. We'll put it out and out. And to me, my God, I don't know. You never know.
That what do you think about Daniel Day Lewis said he felt very sad in the end of the shooting?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard that, and I feel bad that he feels sad, and hopefully he's gonna feel better sometime soon. It's always melancholy and hard to finish a film if you've worked for a long time on it and you dedicated so much attention to it. Inevitably, it's gonna come with some melancholy and some sadness. So you just have to manage it.
This story made him kind of want to dedicate his life to his family, or not?
Don't understand.
Yeah. Okay.
One more time.
Do you think this movie made him to think about he wants to dedicate his life to his family than his art?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Couldn't speak for him.
Okay. But you kind of hopefully he will come back.
Yeah, hopefully.
Mhm.
Hopefully.
Uh,
That would be nice.
so all the characters of your movies, like Boogie Nights and Masters and the main characters in your movies are very hectic, kind of kind of smashing everything. They kind of have an anger problem, but they are always kind of look for the kind of peace of mind. Yeah. So the same story again and again, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the master and apprentice and the father figure and
Yeah. It's a good one. That's all I've got, I guess. That's all I've got.
yes, that I can say you are kind of cursed by your father.
Cursed?
Cursed by your father. Throughout it.
I don't think so. No. Well, I don't know. Curses are, I don't feel cursed by my father. Oof.
But he's scary, kind of.
Well, yeah. That was his character. His silly character that he did.
Yeah, I'm here. He's great.
Yeah. Thank you.